engaging children in financial education through interactive methods makes learning more effective and enjoyable. Traditional instruction can feel abstract, but incorporating gamification, real-world simulations, and experiential learning brings financial concepts to life. Gamification introduces game mechanics to financial education. Apps like MoneyWise Challenge and board games like Monopoly and The Game of Life teach budgeting, investing, and money management through play. These activities reinforce decision-making skills in a fun, low-risk environment. Virtual money management platforms and business simulation games help kids experience budgeting, investing, and entrepreneurship firsthand. These experiences promote financial literacy by demonstrating real-life consequences in a controlled setting. Experiential learning takes education beyond the classroom. Activities like running a small business, managing an allowance, or participating in household budgeting provide hands-on financial experience. Tailoring these activities to different age groups ensures that financial lessons are age-appropriate, relevant, and impactful.
Paul, you have 3 girls. Do you think technology, AI, and gamified finance, do you think that's changed the way they learned about money?
I'm still trying to get past the video with that kid fanning himself with $100 bills. So you scrambled my brain with that one. No, my 2 older daughters, they're babysitting, and when they began babysitting, they were getting it's $20 an hour in my town, so they would get this tangible sum of money. Now it's gone to Venmo, but my oldest daughter, I think she has like. It's like, I don't know what she's afraid of, but she has a big pile of cash. She has a big pile sitting in Venmo. She has a big pile in the bank. She's trying to understand, interest. So I don't think in that sense, I mean, she's very much, connected to the real world. She gets all of her shopping tips, from Instagram, but then she loves nothing more than to go into town and spend it. But it's quite interesting. And you asked me that question, like, she'll want to take cash to buy actual things, and then she pays her friends with Venmo, and then she never touches the money that's in the physical bank. So it's a great question for me to ask her at dinner tonight. But she's already, sort of diversified herself with her babysitting money.
You should borrow some of that cash sometime.
So you're 100% right. I need to go actually borrow money for her because a tutor for one of my other daughters is coming over tonight, and I don't have the money. So I said to her, like, you owe me money. I'm going to go take it out because I don't have the cash. So this is just what you were saying, Andy. It's happening in my house too. I don't need to steal the money for a haircut, as you can tell, but to pay the tutor, I need that.
Neale, talk about what role hands-on experiences play and like play-based learning, games. How important is that for financial literacy for kids?
It's incredibly important, and our kids learn through that interaction. I mean, hey, I played Monopoly 4,000 years ago, and I'm not sure it got me into banking, but that's the lore. But this is the experiential is really, really important. And whenever you can, play a game with the kids. And even, I eventually get the kids involved in taxes, for instance, which is very hard to wrap our head around, for all of us. But even in the car, play a game with the kids. Who pays for what? When you throw out McDonald's and then you say, it's a private company, you as a consumer pay. But who pays for the schools? Who pays for the police? Who pays for the roads? Start getting the kids, even in a simple game form, to start connecting their world with the real world. So, I make everything a game, frankly.
That's definitely more fun. Sam, tell us about financial literacy songs.
Well, just as everybody is saying, our thought is this: learning and mastering things takes an immense amount of repetition, and there's levels. I like levels better than ages, because you have some 6-year-olds who are reading at 9-year-old levels, and vice versa, and that kind of thing. So our thought was, you need a whole variety of ways of repeating and building on the same messages. So you could say, we started with storybooks, and we're very habit formation centric, so to speak. For us, we want kids, adults, everybody to create routines, patterns, habits, ones that have predictable outcomes. So our initial message was saving is a great habit. We put it into a storybook. Then, some kids like to read, many don't. We then put it into a song. We then put it into activities. And so we have a lot of ways of reinforcing the message. A lot of kids like music. One of our main learning philosophies is try to identify things that interest kids. Speak to them in their language. So that might be 1,000 different languages. Some people like music, songs. Others like playing games. Whatever it is, and keep layering. We created this idea. We have a song called "Big Old Dream." We take a dream big. We have a dream big financial education program that basically asks kids, what is your big dream? Now let's put together a plan on how we can make that come true, around various aspects of goal setting and planning, but also money. Are you going to need to save for it? What choices are you going to make? That type of a thing. So songs are a great way to teach, and even if you're using other methods, it's a great way to supplement learning, and it brings a whole different energy to an experience. And somebody mentioned, I think it was Neale, there's all these teachable moments. Some of them are in cars. So when you're on trips, maybe they're just short trips, they're going to school. Hey, you can pop in a song and have a short conversation about it. And so music is a great way to teach and has a lot of advantages.
Yeah, I love the idea of music because it's fun for kids, but music just cuts across or through cultures and really connects us, kind of like food does.
Kind of like food does, yes.
Bobbi, in your book, Financial Grown Up, you talk to a lot of high achievers. Mm-hmm. What's the role of financial mentorship for helping kids understand money better?
Well, I think first of all, thank you so much. And thank you, by the way, for showing my book, Launching Financial Grown-Ups, in the video. That was really fun. I think that role models make it real. A lot of the people featured in my first book, How to Be a Financial Grown-Up, are people like Shark Tank's Kevin. I'm forgetting his name.
Kevin
my
O'Leary.
God, Kevin, guys, help me. Kevin O'Leary. And designer Cynthia Rowley, and people who have really made it in very innovative ways, in very tangible ways, where they're real people that people can relate to. Even Drew Barrymore is in there. And Drew Barrymore, kind of came from behind. She was kind of a mess, and she had a real comeback, and she reinvented herself and really had a lot of, beyond her talk show now, she had a big retail business, Flour, I think was the brand, at Walmart and so on. And I interviewed her actually at a business conference of all things. So these role models kind of come from everywhere, and that we should never be dismissive of people because they're not necessarily working in finance as a role model. They can be in many different industries, and you can see the success. Sometimes there's a failure and a comeback. I love those stories as well in anyone. And I do want to say one more thing about the gamification, because I do love the Monopoly is my favorite, but I want to point out that one thing we should all think about is where we may love Monopoly, and let's all try to get our kids into it. I agree with that. I love the songs, all those things, but it's also important to actively listen and pay attention to where your kids' attention is. For me, it's been a lot of video games, these games on the Xbox that I don't really understand. But one thing I did understand when I saw my son playing them, sometimes unfortunately with my husband, was that there were these in-app purchases. And I really was upset about them because I didn't want my son to be buying them, just because I didn't really think it was a good use of money. So we had a lot of discussions about that. But I also think in-app purchases, which are effectively a shortcut, right? Am I getting that, guys? Because like I said, I don't know the games that well, but they're basically a shortcut. And what I learned is if you just play simple without thinking outside the box, you don't have extra resources, you're just going to have to earn every penny. And it's really hard to always earn income and earn your way up to these better and better positions in the video game. But if you have wealth, not saying it's the best way to spend it, but if you have wealth, you can buy shortcuts in life. And that was an interesting lesson. And I have conflicted feelings about it, but that's really what these in-app purchases are. They're a way to buy yourself out of working harder on certain things. And I thought it was an interesting thing to point out to my son that, well, if you do have basically the wealthy can create shortcuts. And so you have to think about how you feel about that, but also what you want to do in your own life. Do you want to make life easier for you and future generations? Or do you want to just kind of take the simpler, easier, longer road? I don't know. I wonder what everyone thinks about that.
Real world lessons.
I don't know, but that's where my kids were. I mean, that's kind of, it is what it is. They didn't want to play Monopoly with me a lot.
I love it. I would love to know what was the response of your son when you framed it that way.
Well, he didn't like, in terms of his actual behavior, he didn't like the idea of buying in-app purchases because he thinks the video game companies are out to sort of trick you into spending your money. So I don't disagree with that. But he also did agree that life is easier when you have money. So that idea did resonate with him. He just also didn't want to spend the money.
It's an interesting lesson because I think that my son, who's a freshman in high school, he got like some frugality from me. So I always told him, no, you cannot buy Robux, you cannot buy this, you cannot buy that. And eventually he realized that, oh, well, if he spends enough time playing the game, then he can earn whatever points. So I think he realized saving money was good. I don't know if he learned about valuing his time.
Right. I mean, there could be an argument to be made that if you want to achieve certain things in life and can buy yourself a shortcut, maybe that is a good use of the money. But on principle, I am against in-app purchases. I do think they're not the best use of our money.
No, they don't seem like money well spent.
No.
But I'm not a gamer. All right, so let's move to our next segment. We're going to talk about media and money.